The Imperial scout ship hung motionless in the dark space beyond Pluto's orbit. Its sensors had detected something impossible. Another species had achieved faster-than-light travel without Imperial guidance. Captain Smith of Earth's United Defense Force stared at the alien vessel through his bridge viewport, equally surprised to find others in what humanity had thought was empty space. "All weapons remain offline," Smith ordered his crew, maintaining a calm he didn't fully feel. "Let's not start humanity's first alien contact with a fight." The bridge crew nodded, their hands steady on their stations despite the tension filling the air. The Imperial scout ship's captain, a tall blue-skinned being named True, had never encountered such a situation in his 300 years of service. His orders were clear. All new species were to be found, guided, and slowly introduced to galactic society through careful Imperial oversight. But these humans had already broken all the rules. They weren't supposed to have ships this advanced. "Send the standard greeting package," True ordered his communication officer. The data burst shot across space, carrying the Empire's carefully crafted first contact protocols. To everyone's surprise, the human ship responded instantly with their own greeting, transmitted in perfect Imperial standard format. Smith smiled as he sent the response. Earth's AI systems had decoded the alien language in seconds, something that should have taken months. "Impossible," True whispered, watching the humans match every Imperial protocol perfectly. "Command must be notified immediately." Within hours, more Imperial ships arrived, forming a loose circle around the solar system. They found themselves matched by Earth vessels at every point. Admiral James of the UDF coordinated Earth's response from Lunar Command, watching the growing standoff with growing concern. "They're trying to contain us," James noted to his staff. "They think they found a primitive species to guide, but we're not playing by their rules." The first face-to-face meeting was held on neutral ground, a hastily constructed station in lunar orbit. Imperial High Commander Ray stood tall, his ceremonial armor gleaming under the artificial lights. He faced Admiral James across the conference table, both leaders sizing each other up. "Your advancement is unprecedented," Ray stated, his translator converting his words to English. "The Empire has guided thousands of species into the galactic community. All follow the natural progression of development." James kept his expression neutral. "Humanity has always advanced at its own pace, High Commander. We achieved FTL travel through our own efforts, and we're eager to join the galactic community as equals." The word equals sent a visible shock through the Imperial delegation. Species were supposed to be grateful for Imperial guidance, not demand equality at first meeting. Back on Earth, the news of alien contact had sparked a worldwide frenzy of activity. Research labs worked overtime, analyzing every scrap of data from the Imperial ships. Factories retooled to incorporate new insights gained from merely observing Imperial technology. Humanity's innovation engine, already running hot, shifted into overtly. "They're adapting too quickly," True reported to his superiors. "In the time since first contact, they've already improved their drive systems. They're learning just by watching us." The Imperial Council met in emergency session for the first time in 1,000 years. The humans represented something new, a species that had bypassed the Empire's careful control of technological development. Worse, they showed no signs of slowing down. "We must contain them," one council member argued. "If they continue at this pace." "Contain them how?" another countered. "They're already matching our best technology. In some areas, they're starting to exceed it." Admiral James watched more Imperial ships arrive daily, their attempts at subtle intimidation growing more obvious. But Earth didn't slow down. Each Imperial show of force was met with new human innovations. "They think they can box us in," James told his staff. "They don't understand that humanity has never done well with boxes." As the first day of contact drew to a close, both sides knew nothing would ever be the same. The Empire had found something it had never encountered before, a species that refused to be guided, controlled, or contained. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and the show was just beginning. 2 months after first contact, Imperial scientists worked frantically in their massive research station near the Galactic core. They studied endless streams of data about human advancement, and what they saw terrified them. "Look at this," lead researcher Ben pointed to a holographic display. "The humans have already replicated our basic shield technology. It took other species decades to understand these concepts." His assistant nodded grimly as they watched recordings of Earth ships, now sporting improved energy shields. Commander Thomas led Earth's first diplomatic mission to the Imperial capital world. His ship, the Prometheus, represented humanity's latest achievements. The vessel had been upgraded 3 times during the 2-week journey, much to the Empire's growing unease. The Imperial capital was a massive construct, a rain world circling a blue star. Thomas stood at the viewport, admiring the engineering. "Beautiful work," he commented to his crew. "But I bet we could make it more efficient." The Imperial Council watched from their hidden chambers as the human delegation toured their city. High Counselor Mark turned to his colleagues, his ancient face creased with worry. "They look at our greatest achievements not with awe, but with thoughts of improvement." In the Imperial Science Academy, the finest minds of 1,000 species gathered to study the human problem. They watched recordings of Earth's industrial centers, where new technologies appeared almost daily. "Their adaptation rate is impossible," one scientist argued. "They see a technology once and immediately begin improving it. No species has ever shown this capability." Back on Earth, Professor David worked in his lab beneath the Rocky Mountains. His team had just finished analyzing Imperial engine designs. "Their approach is too rigid," he told his colleagues. "They'd been using the same basic designs for thousands of years." "Watch this." He activated a test chamber. Inside, a new type of engine roared to life, one that combined Imperial tech with human innovation. The Empire's sensors detected the energy spike from light years away. The Imperial Council called an emergency session. "We must contain them," Counselor Jack insisted. "Their growth rate threatens the stability of the Empire." "How?" Counselor Anna demanded. "Every restriction we place on them, they find 3 ways around it. They're already producing ships faster than we can track them." Commander Thomas noticed the growing tension during diplomatic meetings. Imperial officials who once spoke of guidance and mentorship now watched his delegation with poorly hidden fear. He reported his observations back to Earth. "They're planning something," he wrote in his secure transmission. "The Empire has never faced a species that didn't need their help to advance. They don't know how to handle us." In orbit around Earth, Imperial observation ships watched in growing alarm as humans began mass-producing technologies that had taken other species centuries to master. Worse, they were improving these technologies in ways the Empire had never considered. "Look at these readings," Captain Tom of the Imperial Observer Fleet reported. "They've increased their shield efficiency by 40% in just 1 week. How is this possible?" The Empire's careful plans for controlling human expansion were falling apart. Trade restrictions meant to slow human progress only drove them to develop alternatives. Diplomatic pressure made them more determined to stand as equals. "We built our empire on being the source of advanced technology," Counselor Mark told his peers. "But these humans, they don't need us. They never did, and they're starting to make us look primitive." Commander Thomas stood before the Imperial Council, delivering Earth's formal request for full diplomatic recognition. Behind him, his ship's AI was already analyzing and improving upon the Council Chamber's ancient technology. "We come as friends and equals," Thomas announced to the Council. "We hope to learn from you and share what we know in return." The Council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. They had spent millennia teaching younger species, guiding their development, controlling their growth. But humanity had bypassed all that. Now they faced something unprecedented, a young species that might soon become the teacher rather than the student. As the day ended, both sides knew a crisis was brewing. The Empire couldn't control humanity's growth, and humanity wouldn't accept being controlled. Something had to give. The Empire's first attempt to contain humanity came in the form of a seemingly generous trade agreement. The document, thousands of pages long, offered Earth access to imperial markets in exchange for reasonable technological oversight. Captain Mary of Earth's Advanced Research Division read through the agreement and laughed. "They're trying to put a leash on us," she told her team. "Look at these restrictions. We'd need imperial approval for any new tech development." Within hours of receiving the trade agreement, human AI systems had analyzed every word. Finding 17 different ways the Empire planned to control Earth's growth. The response from Earth's government was polite but firm. No. They rejected it. High Counselor Mark stared at the report in disbelief. "Every species accepts these terms. The benefits are enormous." "They don't need our benefits," his aide replied. "While we were drafting the agreement, they reversed engineered our latest shield technology. They're already selling improved versions in the outer systems." The Empire's next attempt involved more subtle pressure. They positioned their fleet to control key trade routes, thinking they could force Earth to negotiate. Instead, humanity revealed they'd discovered new ways to navigate hyperspace, routes the Empire had never found. "Impossible," Imperial navigator Paul declared, watching human ships slip through space in ways that defied Imperial science. Those paths shouldn't be stable enough for travel. Captain Mary's team had been busy. They'd taken the basic principles of Imperial FTL travel and reimagined them completely. "The Empire thinks too linearly," she explained to Earth's Defense Council. "They'd been using the same travel lanes for millennia. We found better ones." The Empire's containment strategy was falling apart. Each new restriction led to a new human innovation. When they tried to limit Earth's access to rare materials, humans developed synthetic alternatives. When they restricted information flow, Earth's AI systems found ways around the barriers. "We're making it worse," Counselor Tom warned his peers. "Every obstacle we put in their way forces them to become more creative, more innovative. We're not containing them. We're pushing them to evolve faster." In her lab on Mars, Captain Mary watched the latest test of her hybrid drive system. It combined Imperial tech with human innovations in ways that made Imperial scientists' heads spin. "They keep thinking they can put us in a box," she told her team. "They don't understand that thinking outside the box is what humans do best." The Empire's attempts at technological containment had another unexpected effect. It united humanity like never before. Earth's nations, corporations, and research teams shared information freely, working together to overcome Imperial restrictions. "Their containment strategy has failed completely," Imperial Security Chief Allen reported. "Human ships now move faster, hit harder, and defend better than our standard vessels. Worse, they're selling their improvements to other species." The Empire had always maintained control through technological superiority. Now that superiority was slipping away. Some of the younger species were beginning to ask why they should follow Imperial regulations when humans offered better alternatives. "We need to change our approach," Counselor Mark argued. "The more we try to cage them, the stronger they become. Traditional containment methods are useless against humans." Captain Mary stood on her ship's bridge, watching the Imperial blockade ahead. They'd positioned their ships in a formation that had contained other species for thousands of years. She smiled as her new drive system came online. "They think they're watching all possible routes," she told her crew. "But they're only watching the ones they know about. Let's show them some new ones." Her ship slipped through space in ways Imperial science said were impossible, passing through the blockade as if it wasn't there. Behind her, dozens of Earth ships followed, each using technology that didn't exist 3 months ago. The Empire's cage had failed. Humanity hadn't just escaped it. They'd proven the whole concept of technological containment was flawed. As Captain Mary's fleet demonstrated their new capabilities, the Imperial Council faced a harsh reality. Their traditional methods of control were useless against human innovation. The age of Imperial technological dominance was ending, and a new era was beginning. one where humanity's rapid advancement would reshape the galaxy's balance of power. In the underground labs of Luna Base, Professor Allen worked with a team of engineers and AI systems, surrounded by holographic displays showing Imperial technology schematics. But they weren't just studying the alien tech, they were reinventing it. Look at their power distribution network. Allen pointed to a complex diagram. They've used the same basic design for 10,000 years. But what if we did this? His fingers danced through the hologram, rearranging energy pathways in ways the Empire had never considered. The Imperial observation post watching Earth's moon detected an enormous power spike. Energy readings off the scale, the technician reported to his superior. They've achieved power efficiency levels we thought were theoretical. Within days, human ships began sporting the new power systems. What the Empire had achieved through millennia of careful refinement, humanity had rebuilt and improved in weeks. But they weren't stopping there. Their rate of innovation is accelerating. Imperial Science Director John reported to the Council. They're not just copying our technology anymore. They're using it as a foundation to build things we never imagined. On Mars, the first human-designed shipyards using hybrid technology came online. They combined Imperial manufacturing techniques with human automation and AI oversight. Ships that took the Empire months to build were being completed in days. We need to adapt faster, Imperial Admiral Robb told his staff, watching recordings of new human vessels performing impossible maneuvers. Their ships are already outperforming our best designs. Professor Allen's team made another breakthrough. They'd found a way to merge Imperial shield technology with human quantum computing. The result was a defensive system that could predict and adapt to attacks before they hit. The Empire thinks technology should be perfected slowly, carefully, Allen explained to Earth's Defense Council. But we see every piece of tech as a starting point, not a finished product. In the Imperial capital, panic was setting in. Reports arrived daily of human innovations spreading through the galaxy. Younger species were beginning to buy human technology instead of waiting for Imperial approval to advance. They're dismantling our entire system of technological control, Counselor Mark warned. Not through war or rebellion, but through simple innovation. The Empire had always controlled species development by carefully releasing new technology. But humans were now freely sharing their improvements with anyone who wanted them. More importantly, they were teaching others how to innovate. It's not just their technology we need to worry about, Imperial researcher Sam reported. They're spreading their way of thinking. Other species are starting to experiment, to innovate on their own. Professor Allen's team achieved another milestone. They'd created a new form of FTL drive that made Imperial versions obsolete. But instead of keeping it secret, they published the designs openly, letting anyone use them. The Empire sees technology as power to be controlled. Allen told his students, "We see it as knowledge to be shared and improved." That's why they can't stop our progress. In Imperial shipyards, workers struggled to incorporate human innovations into their ancient designs. But every time they caught up to human technology, Earth had already moved on to something new. They're not just advancing, Admiral Robb observed. They're changing how advancement works. Their ships from last week are updating themselves with new improvements automatically. The Empire's technological superiority, maintained for thousands of years, was crumbling. Human innovation had bypassed their careful controls and rigid thinking. Worse, it was spreading. We're facing a technological revolution, Counselor Mark told the Imperial Council. Not a violent one, but one that's changing the very nature of how species advance. Professor Allen stood in his lab, watching his latest creation take shape. The Empire had given humanity a glimpse of what was possible, but humans had taken those possibilities and expanded them beyond Imperial imagination. They wanted to guide our development, he told his team. Instead, they showed us what was possible, and we showed them what innovation really means. The galaxy was changing. The Empire's careful control of technological advancement was being replaced by humanity's culture of rapid innovation and open sharing. There was no going back. The future would move at humanity's pace now. Imperial Counselor Jack slammed his fist on the ancient crystal table, causing it to crack. Enough. We must act now, before they completely upset the balance of power. Around him, the Imperial Council chamber erupted in heated debate. Their latest defense grid makes our weapons obsolete. Military Commander Steve reported, his hologram flickering with static. They've placed eye-controlled platforms throughout their solar system. We can't even scan their worlds anymore without being detected. Earth's defense grid had become something unprecedented in galactic history. Director Roberts stood in the control center beneath Mount Everest, watching real-time displays of Imperial ship movements light years away. The Empire's attempts at stealth meant nothing to human sensors. They're mobilizing their third fleet, Robert noted calmly. Probably think we can't see them. Should we let them know we're watching? The Empire's hardliners had finally gained the upper hand in council debates. Too many worlds were adopting human technology. Too many species were beginning to question Imperial authority. Something had to be done. Send the ultimatum, High Commander Bill ordered. Either they accept Imperial oversight of their technological development, or will be forced to take action. Earth received the Empire's message with remarkable calm. In fact, they seemed to have been expecting it. Director Robert authorized the activation of their latest defense systems, ones the Empire didn't even know existed. They think they're dealing with the same Earth they found 6 months ago. Robert told the Global Defense Council, they don't realize how far we've come. The Imperial fleet made its move, jumping into Earth's solar system in formation. 5,000 ships, the largest fleet assembled in a millennium. They expected to find a primitive defense system. Instead, they found something else entirely. Energy signatures everywhere, Imperial Scanner Chief Tim reported, his voice shaking. The whole system is alive with technology we can't even understand. Earth's defense grid activated. Millions of small platforms, each more advanced than anything the Empire possessed, emerged from concealment. They moved in patterns that made no sense to Imperial tacticians, guided by AI systems that could think and react thousands of times faster than organic minds. This is your only warning. Director Roberts' message reached every Imperial ship simultaneously. Your weapons are already locked out. Your engines are under our control. Please don't make us demonstrate this. The Imperial Fleet Commander didn't believe it. Until he tried to power up his weapons, nothing responded. Their most advanced ships had been transformed into helpless metal boxes by human technology they couldn't even detect. Impossible. High Commander Bill watched the reports come in. How can they? When did they? This can't be happening. But it was. The Empire's mighty fleet hung motionless in space, completely at Earth's mercy. Humans had anticipated their every move, prepared countermeasures for weapons they weren't supposed to know about. We don't want conflict. Director Roberts' voice was calm and measured. We want cooperation, but it must be as equals. The age of Imperial technological control is over. In the Imperial capital, chaos erupted. The Council split into factions. Some demanded immediate massive retaliation. Others finally accepted that the old ways of control wouldn't work anymore. If we fight them, Counselor Mark warned, we'll lose more than our pride. We'll lose everything. They're not just ahead of us technologically. They're advancing faster than we can comprehend. Earth's message was backed by more than just defensive technology. Human ships appeared near every major Imperial world simultaneously, using drive systems that made Imperial sensors useless. They hadn't just defeated the Empire's military strategy. They'd made it obsolete. The breaking point isn't just military. Director Robert explained to Earth's leaders. It's philosophical. The Empire must accept that their way isn't the only way. That control isn't the same as progress. As the Imperial fleet hung helpless in space, both sides knew the galaxy had reached a turning point. The Empire's assumption of technological superiority had been shattered. Now they faced a choice: adapt to a new reality, or break completely trying to preserve the old one. The imperial capital burned with activity as the Empire launched its desperate gambit. Despite the humiliation of their fleet's paralysis, hardline leaders had convinced the Council to attempt one final show of force. "Activate the ancient weapons," High Commander Bill ordered, his voice echoing through secure channels. Deep beneath Imperial worlds, weapons that hadn't been used in 10,000 years hummed to life. Admiral Lisa of Earth's Defense Force watched the energy readings spike across Imperial space. "They're desperate enough to use their doomsday weapons," she noted to her staff. "Just as we predicted." The Empire had kept these superweapons secret for millennia, using their mere existence as a final guarantee of control. Now they prepared to reveal them, certain that not even humans could have prepared for weapons they didn't know existed. "Victory is assured," Imperial Weapon Master Frank told his leaders. "No species can withstand the ancient weapons. Even humans can't defend against something they've never seen." But as the Empire's super weapons powered up, something strange happened. Human ships didn't retreat. Instead, they moved closer, taking up positions that made no sense to Imperial tacticians. Energy buildup detected in the ancient weapons, and AI reported to Admiral Lisa. "Comparing to our simulations, patterns match perfectly. Countermeasures ready." The Empire had forgotten one crucial fact. Humans didn't think like them. While the Empire had preserved their superweapons unchanged for 10,000 years, humans had spent months imagining every possible weapon the Empire might have and designing defenses against them. "Fire the ancient weapons," High Commander Bill ordered. Beams of unimaginable power lashed out across space, weapons that could shatter planets. The Empire watched, expecting to finally see human defenses fail. Instead, they watched their ultimate weapons dissolve harmlessly against human shields. Worse, the human ships seemed to be absorbing the energy, growing stronger. "Thank you for the power boost," Admiral Lisa transmitted across all frequencies. "Your ancient weapons use an interesting form of energy manipulation. We've been hoping to study it up close." Panic spread through Imperial ranks. Their final, ultimate weapon had failed. More than failed, the humans had turned it to their advantage. In the Imperial capital, riots broke out as the news spread. How? Weapon Master Frank stared at his readings in disbelief. How could they possibly have prepared for weapons they never knew existed? The answer was simple but terrifying to the Imperial mind. Humans hadn't needed to know the exact weapons. They had imagined thousands of possibilities and prepared for all of them. Where the Empire preserved, humans innovated. "You rely too much on the past," Admiral Lisa explained to the shocked Imperial commanders. "We spent months thinking about what you might have hidden away. Designed defenses for weapons that might not even exist. Because that's what humans do. We imagine possibilities." The Empire's gambit had failed completely. Not only had their superweapons proven useless, but the attempt had revealed their existence to the galaxy. Other species now knew the Empire had kept such power hidden while preaching peaceful guidance. "Your choice is simple," Admiral Lisa continued. "Join us in building a new future, or cling to your past and watch the galaxy leave you behind. But understand this, the age of Imperial control through force is over." In the Imperial capital, the Council faced reality. Their military power was broken. Their technological superiority was gone. Their political control was crumbling, all because they had encountered a species that thought differently. "We should have realized," Counselor Mark said softly. "A species that could advance so quickly would never be caught off guard. They don't just react to threats, they imagine and prepare for them before they appear." The Empire's gambit had achieved the opposite of its intended effect. Instead of containing humanity, it had proven to the galaxy that the old order was finished. A new age was beginning, one where innovation and adaptation would matter more than tradition and control. As Imperial ships powered down their useless superweapons, Admiral Lisa opened channels to all species in the galaxy. "Let's talk about building something new," she offered. "Together, as equals." 1 year after the failed Imperial gambit, The Great Hall of New Unity Station hosted the first Galactic Congress. Representatives from all species, including the Empire, gathered in the human-designed space station, floating at the galaxy's heart. The age of control is over, Council Leader Mark announced to the assembled delegates. Today we begin an era of cooperation. The words clearly pained him, but the Empire had finally accepted reality. Professor Allen stood next to Director Robert, watching alien scientists eagerly discuss ideas with human researchers. The scene would have been unimaginable a year ago. Imperial tech freely shared, improved upon by collaborative teams. They're learning quickly, Robert observed as a young Imperial engineer excitedly explained a new improvement to human designs. Once they stopped trying to control knowledge and started sharing it, their own innovation rate skyrocketed. The new balance wasn't just about technology. Humanity had insisted on a complete restructuring of galactic society. The Empire remained important, but as one voice among many, not the sole authority. Look at these efficiency ratings, a young alien scientist named Rod showed his human colleague. By combining Imperial power systems with human AI control, we've achieved something entirely new. That was the key change. Species weren't just copying each other's technology anymore. They were creating new things together, combining different approaches and perspectives. The Empire taught us so much, Professor Allen told the gathered scientists. But they forgot that teaching should go both ways. Real progress comes from sharing knowledge, not controlling it. In Earth's solar system, massive shipyards worked continuously, but not for war. They produced exploration vessels, research ships, and trading craft. Many were joint projects, combining the best ideas from multiple species. We're mapping regions of space the Empire never explored, Captain Tom reported from his hybrid design ship. Their established routes were safe, but we're finding so much more by trying new paths. The Imperial capital had changed too. Where once stern officials controlled the flow of technology, now innovation centers flourished. Young Imperials worked alongside humans and other species, free to experiment and create. I never imagined such freedom. Young Imperial researcher Jack told his human teammates, "We spent millennia thinking we had to protect knowledge, control its spread. Now we're advancing faster than ever by sharing it." The Empire's old guard struggled with the changes, but couldn't deny the results. Their civilization, which had stagnated for thousands of years, was experiencing a renaissance of creativity and discovery. Humanity didn't defeat us, Counselor Mark explained to his peers. They freed us from our own limitations. We were so focused on maintaining control that we forgot how to grow. Earth had changed too. Human innovation, already rapid, accelerated even faster with input from alien perspectives. But they maintained their core principle. Knowledge should be shared, not controlled. The galaxy was never meant to have a single teacher, Director Robert told the Congress. We all have something to learn from each other. Progress comes from combining our strengths. The new balance brought challenges. Some species advanced faster than others. But instead of artificial restrictions, they developed mentoring programs. Advanced species helped others not by controlling them, but by teaching them to innovate. That's the real difference, Professor Allen explained to his students. The Empire tried to control the galaxy's development. We're helping it develop itself. A year after the crisis, the galaxy had transformed. The rigid hierarchy of imperial control had been replaced by a dynamic network of cooperation. Species that had never communicated now worked together, creating technologies neither could have developed alone. We thought we were perfect, the Imperial High Scholar admitted during the Congress's closing ceremony. Humanity showed us that perfection isn't about achieving a final state. It's about never stopping our journey to improve. As the Congress ended, ships of all designs departed the station, carrying delegates back to their worlds. But they weren't ending their cooperation. They were expanding it. The new galactic order wasn't built on control or force, but on a shared drive to explore, learn, and grow together. The Empire had wanted to cage humanity. Instead, humanity had freed the galaxy, not through conquest, but by showing a better way forward. The age of imperial control was over. The age of shared innovation had begun.